Something that I find really quite obnoxious and fairly disingenuous in its nature is when people have some kind of a social media platform that exists for a specific reason. Everyone follows them for a very specific reason, probably a good reason, and then they take that and they leverage that platform, that outlet, that voice, to amplify their own personal opinions that had nothing to do with the platform and the reason why everyone follows them. So essentially, they just hijack what is a legitimate outlet that people have subscribed to, started to follow, consume content from for a very, very genuine reason, and then in a quite disingenuous way, just use it as a soapbox to get their own opinions out there and as a megaphone to just blurt their own personal bullshit out there so that people can hear. So, I mean, by the way, I've no doubt there'll be some people who'll be like, that's all you do with your Twitter. Except my Twitter from day one has been marketed and explicitly stated as my personal opinions on esports. I happen to post my content there. That's not even the main way that 99% of people get to my content. They go through Reddit. They go through Facebook when they are on there. They have YouTube subscriptions. They can get my content without having to get my opinions. That's absolutely the case. That's not the case in this example, though, because if you don't follow these Twitter sites or Facebook groups, you can't get the content that they post. To get it, you explicitly have to buy into that, and they're forcing their opinions on you in this point. I mean, I'll give you two examples of this that I found really egregious, and I could just leave it vague, but I'm just going to go ahead and say these examples, and if these people see it in the video and they don't like it, well, that'll have to be their problem, won't it? So there's the website, or the Twitter site rather, which is called The Four Horsemen, and this is a really great Twitter account. It's been one of my favorites for the last couple of years, because what it does is it posts quotes and links to articles and reminds you in a topical fashion of the relevant things that the guys who were in the Four Horsemen of the New Atheism or whatever said. So we're talking about Daniel Dennett, Sam Harris, Richard Dawkins, and Christopher Hitchens. Obviously, Christopher Hitchens is someone that I have a lot of admiration for and have enjoyed a lot of his work. Also quite interested in Sam Harris. So what they would usually do on this Twitter account is post comments that they said or links to articles, and they would usually try and make it relevant to something that's happening now. So obviously in the case of Christopher Hitchens, that's quite a valuable thing to do because the guy is dead, he's not around, but he wrote extensively on many topics, which if you figure out the right way to do it, you can tie into what's happening now and make it relevant again and remind us of it and just show how even something he said back then might apply to now. And that is a very valuable thing, and I love this account. I've retweeted it many times. Now, during this election though, the guy who runs that account, it suddenly became so that it felt like, maybe 1% of tweets that he was putting out were about any of those four people, what they'd said or their opinions, and the other 99% became, and by the way, were massively more increased. The other ones, it'd be the odd, a day, once every day, twice a day, something, there'd be something from one of those people. Now, all the tweets on this account were quite firmly pro-Clinton, in as much as you must vote for Clinton, she's the lesser of two evils, that sort of rhetoric, and about how Trump's evil and a racist and a bigot and a piece of shit and a sexist, and it all went along those lines. And then, even worse, would sometimes even try to find old Christopher Hitchens quotes to somehow imply that he would vote for Hillary Clinton, or that he's pro-Clinton in a scenario of Clinton versus Trump, even though some of the quotes he was using, he wasn't using in the brilliant way he would beforehand topically tie in something from the past to now. He would even purposely pick some quotes that wouldn't apply to now if Christopher Hitchens was alive, because I can't know what he'd think, but from my experience of reading his work, if Christopher Hitchens had had access to the Podesta email leaks and knew all the things that come out about Clinton and links to Saudi Arabia, etc., I do not think someone like him, who is against people like ISIS, would in any way ever say the logic that, well, he's better than Trump, and therefore you should vote for Hillary because she's the lesser of two evils, and this is still better. No, I think he would actually probably decline to vote for anyone, or maybe he'd have a third party candidate he'd vote for. I also don't think he would instantly tar Trump as some bigot in the way that a lot of the people who are now using his name might try to do so. So that really sickens me, the way this particular one was done. Another example, there's a great Twitter account, it's not as good, but it's pretty good, called Refine the Mind, and it posts tweets that are from philosophers, or retweets other accounts that are philosophers, so Nietzsche, Sartre, Camus, great thinkers like this. And this was another account which was all about that, and he was doing a good job. When the election came around, he posted a link to an article or a Medium thing or a Twitlonger, one of them, which was basically him explaining why it's really important that you vote for Hillary Clinton over Donald Trump. Again, literally just using this platform that's a brilliant concept just for their own shitty personal opinions and their own bullshit bias. Now, what's disgusting about this is that not only have they almost ruined the original accounts, like now you just want to unsubscribe because you don't want to have to get their shitty opinions, but you don't want to lose the wonderful quotes. So you end up in this horrible position where they've just enforced their personality onto something that wasn't about their personality. It wasn't about them. That's what they don't seem to get. They probably think they're justified to do that, or that they've earned the right to do that because they did put in a lot of effort for our benefit by having these social media accounts, and yeah, thanks for that. But actually, no, that's not what it's about. And here's the problem. If it was just about getting their opinion out there, why not make your own Twitter account? Why not make your own Facebook group that's separate and it's just your opinions and explicitly market that way? Oh, that's right. You don't do that because no one would fucking care. No one would follow your account. No one would listen. No one would hear. And so what you did was, in this moment where you knew there was only a few weeks to potentially sway people or use people's intellectual, ideological heroes to maybe tip them one way or the other, you used that platform as your own fucking soapbox to get your opinions out there and try and sway people off the names of dead people and trying to use old quotes and there's something pretty disgusting about that. And no, I don't really appreciate it. And it shows me how disingenuous you are that you don't just make your own Twitter accounts in this particular way. So obviously this is a very specific example that happened in the past over the election. But watch, because this will happen in a number of other instances. Like, by the way, I'm not talking about when they, by the way, retweet like 10 crazy quotes or something. Because you notice a lot of them do that because a lot of those Twitter sites are run by the same people. And that's how they're getting their money from marketing. They're just doing the odd tweet like that. So whatever, they can do that if they want to upkeep the site or make it worth their while, fine. But that's only once in a while they do that. Most of the stuff they normally post are tweets that are to do with the actual content that you subscribe for. So keep your eye out for when this happens again, because it will happen again, especially with the social justice warrior bullshit movement that we've got going now. I expect it to happen on a number of occasions again. And so I think the whole thing's quite pathetic. I think it's very sad because these people were doing great work, and if they wanted to put their own opinions out there, I don't mind that. Put them out on your own account, no problem. Then people who want that can sign up for that and expressly get that, and we can all have a great time on the internet.